Welcome again, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Captain Kefombewa. On this flight, we are going to fly from Jomo Kenyatta International Airport to Mombasa International Airport on the SSG Embraer 195. Our focus today will be on interpretation of weather, and welcome aboard. So I'll just zoom it in so that I can show you how to interpret the weather. Right? So the weather for Nairobi is HKJK, Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. The SA there means the actual surface data. So actual surface data was taken at 0730 on the 11th. And the wind is 180 at 10 knots. Visibility is 10 kilometers. Scattered at 2,000 feet. Temperature is 18. Dew point is 10. The QNH is 1026 with no significant change. The FT there means terminal forecast. So the forecast was taken at 0500 Zulu time on the 11th. And it's valid between 0600 and 1200. That's between 11th and 12th. The wind is variable at 3 knots, 10 kilometers visibility, with few clouds at 600 feet, overcast at 1,600 feet, and becoming between 0700 and 1000, that's on the 11th, 150 at 10 knots, broken at 2,300 feet. Just another highlight to know that we have change indicators like becoming, tempo. So you have to check the change indicators and make sure that within your ETA, that's the actual, rather estimated arrival time, 1 hour before and 1 hour after, the valid weather is going to be favorable for your landing. How do you know that it's going to be favorable? You can go to your approach plate. So what is required according to the approach plate? 200 over here is the height above aerodrome level, and your cloud base has to be above 200 feet for you to use Nairobi as an alternate. If you take off from Nairobi, for you to return to Nairobi, you have to have a cloud base of more than 200 feet. Visibility as well has to be 800 meters if you have full lighting. If there's no lighting in Nairobi, then you have to have a visibility of 1,200 meters. Okay, since we know that the Embraer 195 is a category C, then that applies to it as well. Category C, 800 and 1,200. Now that we have completed the power up checklist, we can go ahead and set up. Once we set up, we prepare the performance numbers, then we can take off. So QNH 1014. Select weather on the pilot flying side and terrain on the pilot monitoring side. So this is simple routing to Mombasa. Mombasa basically take off from runway 06 via Atuduan Delta, transition Uvova, Egvom, Etusu Momba for the ILS runway 21 in Mombasa. So this is how the performance tool has worked. We were setting the takeoff data and we got the latest airport meta, and that was populated there. QNH 1024, wind is 1207 knots as the latest, and a temperature of 21. Departure runway 06 with a heading of 053. The rest of the data is automatically populated, and that's the runway selected. Takeoff configuration for Embraer 195, which is what we are flying, with a flap 1, takeoff mode 2, ATIX on, and weight of 41 tons that you got from the PAF. and CG position is 13% mark. That was selected, and takeoff stub trim is going to be 2.4. I can set that immediately. And 2.4 in this case is going to be nose up, which is set. You can compute the V speeds: V1 136, VR 137, V2 139, VFS 189. V2 plus 10 in our case is 149. That is set. Since you're already on the runway, I'll just go ahead and arm auto throttle. Takeoff config.
Takeoff okay.
All right. Takeoff okay. Takeoff config checked. ICAS is checked. And I'll just set this. Brake temperature indicators are checked on the status page. Transponder, TRA, sterile cockpit on, and before takeoff checklist complete. Takeoff thrust checked.
$80 knots.
80 knots checked.
V1, VR, V2.
Positive rate of climb. Gear up. Thousand feet climb sequence. Select VNAV and FMS speeds. Transition altitude. Select standard. Standard set. And cross-checked. Beautiful. We are now set up for Mombasa, since we checked our flight plan weather and we saw that the Mombasa weather was good. How do we know that the Mombasa weather was good? Mombasa weather, the forecast weather was between 0600 and 1200, that's 11th and 12th, 22085 knots, 10 kilometers, rain broken at 2000 feet, overcast 8000 feet, becoming between 0900 on the 11th and 1200 on the 11th, 170 and 15 knots, scattered at 2300, broken at 9000 feet. And that's our landing time, so we can accept that weather. Since we have accepted that weather and we know that it's going to be runway 21, we can go ahead and pull out our plate for runway 21. Okay, so we set up according to that briefing strip. Minimum's 400 feet. So the latest weather for Mombasa gives us a wind of 220 at 5 knots, QNH 1020, temperature 23, runway 21 for arrival. Select the runway, and all that information is populated, which is correct. Embraer 195, no ice, and our landing weight we are going to confirm from here, which is 38.5. So I said 38.5. Landing flap is going to be flap 5. So the landing configuration. Okay, so the approach is going to be 130. We have Mount Kilimanjaro over there and Mount Meru on the side. Setup complete. Auto brake, low set. Fuel required back to Nairobi is checked. Briefing complete, and descent checklist is complete. Flight level 200 descending. I will ident the navigs. Approach checklist, passenger signs set, on, and landing lights on. Approach checklist complete. Next is the landing checklist. Flap 1. Set block speeds for now. Flap 1 is set. You can see flap 1 is extended. My Kindia is now tuned, so I'll preview. Lock 1 with a course of 210. Localizer is alive. Arm approach. Localizer capture, speed on elevator. Still have path, so I'll use FPA for now. Capture the glide path. Gear down. And flap 3. Flap 3 is extending. Okay, it's time to fly this aircraft manually.
Autopilot. Autopilot.
Minimums.
Reverser 1 and 2 deployed.
Auto brake.
Manual braking. Reverse as towed. Right, that was a quick stop, and we can now have a recap of what we did today as we taxi into Mombasa International Airport. We checked weather validity, the cloud base, the visibility, the temperature on ground, the QNH, and other change indicators like becoming and tempo. So as we taxi in, just remember that weather is also one of the most significant factors while making a decision to depart an airport and also to land into an airport. Thank you, and see you in the next flight.